So much for coming. I think this is our first time on campus in a while, so we're super excited to be here at San Jose State. I'm actually from San Jose originally. As you might see, my dad is right here, and it's his first time seeing me present at events. We wanted to come because he's local. And so at a lot of events, or like at movies, they say, okay, everybody keep their phones off, which Andrew, I know he just mentioned it. But at Twitter, we say keep your phones on, because we want you to be tweeting, you can take pictures, talking about whatever you want. The hashtag that we have for today is hashtag Twitter Takeover SJSU. So if you tweet anything, use that hashtag, and then also do @TwitterU, which stands for Twitter University. Twitter will be retweeting things, so take photos or anything you want, but we're excited to see your tweets and meet all of you. So my name's Kelly. I'm a hype tweep at Twitter. We don't call each other employees at Twitter, we call each other tweeps. And as a hype tweep, my role is just going on to campuses, doing events, also managing our internship program. We're lucky that we actually have one of my favorite turns. Cindy is here today. She's doing her second summer internship with us at Twitter. We've also got Albert, and he'll speak with you in a little bit too. So thank you very much for coming. We're going to give you some information about Twitter, hashtag love where we work, and then Albert will give you a little bit about what he does in his team. So we'll have time for questions and answers afterwards. So enjoy. All right, so Twitter. It's what's happening in the world and what people are talking about right now. And this gives you a little example right here.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're more than 2 hours into the show and Donald Trump hasn't tweeted at us once.
An exquisite Twitter exchange.
Best Twitter response.
É que o Twitter anunciou.
He's a 5-time champion. He has more Twitter followers.
Twitter पर ट्रेंड करना शुरू कर दिया था.
The perfect prediction on this series on Twitter.
Twitter.
Al and I are dangerously close to losing our title for the most retweeted tweet of all time.
Like पुराना tweet.
I was tweeting on that. You tweeted a thinking face.
Following her performance, tweeting.
So we have a new tweet.
All right.
Then I do the honors.
Stand by, tweet alert. It's time for late night hashtags. Here we go.
Okay, what are these hashtags? Are they trending?
Hashtag DiCaprio.
Close your eyes. Hashtag Virendra Sehwag.
Hashtag just
Hashtag logical.
That's another reason why he should probably be on Twitter.
Yeah, he should be on Twitter. Yeah.
So I don't know if now when you watch the news, but when I'm on my Twitter timeline, I feel like now when I'm watching news, I already know everything that they're going to say because it breaks on Twitter first. Twitter's a place where you see every side of the story. And one example of that is, I don't know if we have any Game of Thrones fans here, but I don't actually watch the show. However, when I go to my timeline, I know that it's on because it is just covered with everybody talking about what's happening, their reactions to it. There's no spoilers here. I know it's the end of the season, but any type of TV show, sporting event, you know what's going on because it's happening on Twitter. Game of Thrones, or I don't know if do we have any Warrior fans here? Yes? Okay. So during the finals, we've got people tweeting like crazy during the NBA finals. This one I love, like LeBron even tweeted a couple of years ago about how just Steph couldn't be stopped. So it's cool to see the interaction that players and us as fans have and access to the teams. So it's happening on Twitter, it's happening everywhere. These are just different examples of some hashtags you might recognize. Crying Jordan, the meme of Michael Jordan crying, but it's happening at Twitter. But on the more serious side too, so Twitter is a place where movements happen. It's a place that gives a voice to the voiceless. So there's many different things happening in the world right now. And Twitter is a place that gives people a voice and builds community on the platform. We just had an example recently of just everything going on in Houston with a hurricane, and seeing people tweeting out for help and lives actually being saved because people are tweeting their location, and different organizations are able to reach them via Twitter because phone lines don't work, or it's hard to get service. Things like that is amazing for me. Also, one kind of cool thing that happened a little while ago was former President Barack Obama announced on Twitter that gay marriage was legal, that the Supreme Court ruling had passed. And he decided to announce that and tweet about it. And he used the hashtag #LoveWins. And so that hashtag has been used millions and millions of times, and it was just pretty cool that that remains. A coworker of mine, he's another hype tweet, and he is one of the leads for one of our groups called Twitter Open, and that's for the LGBTQIA community, and I'm a part of Twitter Open too. And when you use the hashtag #LoveIsLove, a heart emoji would appear next to it. He was so passionate about it that he got the heart emoji tattooed on his arm. So people are just, when you come to Twitter, people really, really care about the work that we're doing for the world. This is one example here. So in 2015, there was a woman named April Rain, and the Oscars were happening, and just noticed that there was a huge lack of diversity with a lot of the nominees. So she created the hashtag #OscarsSoWhite. Does anybody here remember that hashtag or familiar with that? Okay. So through working at Twitter, we're able to interact with a lot of these people that we call VITs, so very important tweeters. And April Rain she's one of my friends, and so I was texting her, just kind of asking her about the impact that this hashtag made. And you'll see that in January 15th is when she started it. And then by February 22nd, it was used over 630,000 times. And so I was messaging with her, and I want to actually read you her response. I wanted to see just, has she noticed any kind of change since she tweeted this out, and if so, what it was. So her response was, in 2015, there wasn't as much change as we experienced in 2016. I think that was in part because with 1 year, folks looked at the lack of diverse nominees as a fluke. After the 2016 nominees were announced and there were still no significant numbers of people of color, it was viewed as a pattern. It was then we saw significant change within the diversity initiative. Anecdotally, when I did speaking engagements and met people within the entertainment industry, I was told things like, I've been in this business forever and this is the first time I haven't had to twist people's arms to discuss diversity. Or, I'm noticing a difference when I go on auditions now. People are a bit open-minded with respect to who can play what role. After 2016, anecdotes like this increased significantly. So that was just cool for me to hear that she was just like one of us. She just created this simple hashtag because she believed something wasn't right. And the fact that she's seeing change now with diversity in just nominations in entertainment is huge. So has anybody heard of this hashtag, I look like an engineer? Yeah, okay. So a while back, a company put out some information and it was not very complimentary to female engineers. And so this hashtag came about and different females and allies were tweeting. It was a very empowering movement for females in the engineering space. People were tweeting out, I look like an engineer who could use more sleep, no need to run my reds, I'll still be an eng without your validation. And this is actually one of our interns too. So at Twitter too, our values, we believe in free expression and think every voice has the power to impact the world. But we also believe in the free expression at Twitter. So it's pretty amazing to actually be in so we work in San Francisco, that's where our headquarters is. There's almost 40 different locations worldwide, but we're headquartered in San Francisco. So within Twitter, we have these things called ERGs. So it's an employee resource group. And with these groups, this one is, there's at Twitter Women, there is Blackbirds, there's Alas, which is wings in Spanish, there is Twitter Open, Twitter, what else am I missing? There's Twitter Asian, which we started this year. I'm one of the leads on Twitter Asian. Twitter Stripes for our veterans, Twitter Parents. So there's just all these different groups where everybody's background is celebrated. And so I'm a part of almost all of the different ERGs, so I can just learn as much as I can. And this was a campaign that came out earlier about #SheInspires_me. This is something really cool. So for Black History Month, we had the hashtag for the culture. And we had different events going around in all of the offices, and this is just a little peek into kind of some of the things that we did. So we get sometimes athletes and the celebrities coming into the office, so Draymond Green came out to the office. TI in our New York office.
In terms of being unapologetically Black, I can't remember a time in my life where my mother didn't buy me Black dolls or, talk to me about, the rich culture in Africa. When I look at Blackness in this country and how far we've come despite every single obstacle thrown at us, I'm proud of us.
This is in our New York office. That's April Rain. We tweeted that earlier. That's Oscar Soleil.
You can't expect a kid to be a black doctor. You can't tell a kid to be a black lawyer if they ain't never seen one. So our job, everyone in this room, is to make sure that you live your life as an example. You give those people coming up behind you something that they haven't necessarily seen before, but they need to do that.
One of our new grads actually created this bot so that you could tweet out different questions and you get different, either like self-care or different important facts and dates for Black History Month too. So this is just like another aspect of just your work at Twitter. This was all of us at Pride this past year. So as you can kind of see, we have a hashtag, it's hashtag love where you work. And I feel like that's super relevant to what I do. I used to work in career services at UC San Diego, and now I'm on the other side, so on industry side, just because I love working like with all of you and trying to help you find like what your next dream internship or next job is going to be. But I've never experienced a place like Twitter before, where you go there and people are just so passionate about what we're doing and the impact that it's having on the world. So just an example here, like hashtag Pride is happening. That was the Pride hashtag for June. These are some of our turns. You guys might recognize some of these people over here. This is our rooftop in San Francisco. So life at Twitter, nobody has offices. It's all open desk space. You can work on the rooftop here. The hardest part of your day literally is going to be deciding what you want to eat, because there are 3 different cafeterias. My favorite thing when I walked through the door was I was getting a tour of the kitchenettes, and I'm a huge boba milk tea fan, and I saw we have a boba milk tea bar at Twitter. Like, they make the boba there, and there's all these different kinds of milk tea. There's Boba Guys, if anyone's familiar with that company. And then the culture. It's a really awesome culture at Twitter, and these are just some of our turns here. This guy right here, this was our university recruiting intern. He's the one that created this whole slide deck. He's got a marketing major. So the impact that a lot of these turns are having, they're shipping code immediately. Does anyone recognize this man right here? You want to see? Yes, very good. Jack is our CEO. So he's CEO of Twitter and of Square. He is very, very into development and learning. There's all these different types of classes you can take. We have a group called Twitter Songbirds if you're into singing. There's improv classes, and also just a lot of different classes to enhance your skills too. So have you taken any of the classes or anything with learning at Twitter?
Sure. So I teach a few of the introductory classes for software engineers.
Oh, perfect.
So yeah, I guess.
And you just started 6 months ago. Okay, Albert's amazing. All right. So we mentioned briefly some of our VITs, very important tweeters. So Kevin Hart has come by the office. My favorite was when actually Key and Peele came. Have any of you seen, they do the one skit called The Substitute Teacher, where he messes up all the names. So my brother's name is Aaron. So of course I had to go up to him and say like, can you please say hi to my brother? So we did a video. He's like, hey, Aaron. And he, so it's cool because you just, not only do you hear and see the people tweeting, but they come to the office, you get to interact with them too, and learn their stories and find out just kind of what they're trying to do with the platform. This is our main area. It's called, this is hashtag tea time, so it's every other week. We have a all hands meeting, so this is Jack right here. And it's where we get to learn about all the new and exciting things that are happening on the platform. Definitely believe in hashtag one team. And Twitter is a place where you can turn up your impact. And you'll see it's TERN, so we call our